على حسن الصلوات أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. On behalf of the Australia Light Foundation, I'd like to welcome you all. Today I'll be reading from the 8th word, which is only one section of the Risale-i Nur Collection, written by Bediuzzaman Said Nursi. Bediuzzaman meaning the wonder of the age. For our viewers who are not aware of Said Nursi, in very brief summary, he is an Islamic scholar who was born in the year 1877 in Turkey and passed away in 1960. He put together more than 6,000 pages of the Risale-i Nur, directly from the Quran, and giving us the explanation of the Quran in today's age. So today I'll be reading from the 8th word, and the 8th word is the necessity of religion. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of all existence. Inna ad-dina inda Allah al-Islam. The religion with God is Islam. Chapter 3, verse 19. If you want to perceive the true nature of the world and human spirit within it, and the religion's nature and its value for humanity, if you want to perceive how the absence of the true religion makes this world the darkest dungeon, the darkest prison, and the unbeliever the most unfortunate creature, and why belief in Allah's existence and unity, as well as reliance upon Him, opens the universe's secret sign and saves our souls from darkness, if you want to perceive and clearly see and observe all these, consider the following story. Two brothers travelled together. Coming to a fork, a split in the road, they see a wise old man and ask him which way to take. The wise old man tells the two brothers, the way to the right requires observance and obedience of certain laws, but this observance and obedience brings a certain security and happiness, while the road to the left promises a certain kind of freedom, but within this freedom lies certain danger and distress. Now the choice is yours. So they come to a road, and the road comes to a fork. They see a wise old man and two brothers, similar situation, similar circumstances, ask the wise old man the question which way they should take. And the wise old man, with his wisdom and knowledge, provides them with this information and explanation. The well-disciplined, the well-mannered brother, relying on Allah, takes the right way and accepts dependence on law and order. The other brother, who is immoral and a slack person in nature, takes the left way for the sake of freedom. He seems comfortable, but in fact feels no inner tranquility, no calmness. They both reach the desert, and he suddenly hears the terrible sound of a beast that is about to attack him. So the brother who's taken the left path reaches the desert, and there's a beast which is about to attack him. He runs away, and he sees a waterless well. And this waterless well is 60 meters deep in length. He jumps into it, as he has no other opportunity and options available to him. Halfway down, he grabs a tree growing out of the wall to break his fall. The tree has two roots, both of which are being chewed and eaten away by two rats. One of the rats is white in colour, and the other one is black. Looking up, he sees the beast waiting for him, the beast that he ran away from and jumped into the well. Looking down, he sees a horrible dragon almost at his feet. Its large mouth is open and ready to receive him. Looking at the wall of the well, he notices that it is covered with labouring insects. Looking again at the tree that he's hanging onto, he notices that although it's only a fig tree, it miraculously has many different fruits, from walnuts to pomegranates. Hanging in the well, he does not understand all that has happened. Unable to reason, he cannot imagine that all of these things are not there by chance, and that they must have significant meaning. He cannot grasp, he cannot comprehend, he cannot understand that there must be one who causes all these things to happen in that particular way. Although inwardly distressed and despite his spirit's and heart's complaints, his carnal and his evil commanding soul pretends everything is fine. And so he ignores their weeping. Pretending that he is enjoying himself in a garden, he starts eating all kinds of fruits for free. But for some of them, those fruits are poisonous and will harm him. In the Hadith al-Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so Hadith al-Qudsi, that is when it's a specific category of sayings from Prophet Muhammad. The wording is from the Prophet Muhammad, but the meaning belongs to Allah directly. I will treat my servants in the way they think of me. This means, so I will treat my servants in the way they think of me. This man sees everything happening to him as having no meaning, and therefore that is the way it is for him. So he is and will be threatened, and he is treated in the way that he thinks and sees. He neither dies nor does he live well, but simply persists in agony. He persists in pain of suspense and uncertainty. So we've spoken about the brother who's taken the left-hand path, the left way. Now let's recall the other brother who's the well-disciplined brother, who's the wise brother, and let us see his situation. Since he is well-mannered and has a good character, he always thinks of good. He affirms and he upholds and observes and accepts the law, and feels secure and free. Finding beautiful flowers and fruits together with certain ruined and ugly things in the garden, he focuses on what is good and beautiful. His brother cannot, for he has concerned himself with what is ruined and ugly and finds no ease in such a garden. The wise brother lives according to, look on the good side of everything. So he's got a positive attitude to life. Look on the good side of everything, and so is generally happy with everything. On his way, he too reaches the desert like his brother did, who took the left-hand path. And just as his brother did, a beast shows up as well for him. He too is afraid, but not as much as his brother was, because he considers that there must be an owner and ruler of the desert, and that beast must be in his service and under his command. He also jumps down the well, and halfway down catches hold of some tree branches. Noticing two rats chewing and eating away in the tree's two roots, as well as the dragon below and the beast above, he finds himself in a strange situation. But unlike his brother, who took the left-hand path, since he has good character, which causes him to think positively and see the good side of everything, he understands that everything must have been arranged by someone and represents a sign. Thinking that he is being watched and examined, he understands that he is being directed and guided as a test for a purpose. In curiosity, he asks, who wants to make me know him and guides me to a certain point along such a strange way? This curiosity arouses in him a love for the sign's owner, which makes him want to understand the sign, what the events mean, and to acquire good qualities and its owner. He realizes that the tree is a fig tree, although it bears many kinds of fruits. He is no longer afraid, for he realizes that it is a simple catalogue of unseen owner's fruits that he has prepared in his garden for his guests. Otherwise, one tree would not bear so many different fruits. He starts to pray earnestly, sincerely, and as a result, the key to the secret is inspired in him. He declares, O owner of this scene and events, I am in your hands. I take refuge in you and am at your service. I desire your approval and knowledge of you. The wall opens, revealing a door, the dragon's mouth, leading onto a wonderful, pleasant garden. Both the dragon and the beast become two servants inviting him in. The beast changes into a horse on which he rides. And so, my lazy soul and imaginary friend, let's compare the two positions of the brothers and see how good brings good and how evil brings evil in life. The brother who took the left way of self-trust and self-willed freedom is about to fall into a dragon's mouth. Trembling, he's shivering with fear. He is always anxious, lonely, and in despair, in hopelessness, and considers himself a prisoner facing the attacks of the wild beasts. He adds to his distress by eating apparently delicious but actually poisonous fruits that are only samples. They are not meant to be eaten for their own sake, but to persuade people to seek the originals and become customers of them. He changes his day into darkness. He wrongs himself, changing his situation into a hell-like one, so that he neither deserves pity nor has the right to complain. In contrast, the brother who took the right way is in a fruitful garden and he's surrounded by servants. He studies every different and beautiful incident in amazement, with a pleasant fear and a lovely quest, a search for knowledge. In hope and with yearning, he seems himself as an honoured guest, enjoying himself with the generous host's strange and beautiful servants. He does not eat up the fig tree's fruits, rather he samples them, and understanding reality, postpones his pleasure and enjoys the anticipation. The first brother is like one who denies his favoured situation at a meal in summer garden surrounded by friends, and instead becoming drunk, imagines himself among wild beasts in winter and complains thereof. Wrongdoing himself and insulting his friends, he deserves no mercy. The other brother, who accepts trustingly what is given and observes the law, sees and accepts reality, which for him is beautiful. Having perceived the beauty of reality, he respects the perfection of the owner of the reality and therefore deserves his mercy. Therefore, can we attain a partial understanding of the following verse? مَا أَصَابَكُم مِّنْ حَسَنَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. What comes to you of good is from Allah, but what comes to you of evil comes from man himself. Surah An-Nisa, verse 79 in the Quran. Reflecting upon the brothers, we see that one's carnal, evil commanding soul prepared a hell-like situation for him, corresponding to his own attitude of reality, whereas the other's potential goodness, positive intention, and good nature led him to a very favoured and happy situation. Now, I say to my own soul, as well as to the one who is listening to this story, together with my soul. If you want to be like the fortunate brother in the story, not the unfortunate one, listen to the Quran, obey its orders, and follow its guidance. The idea of the story is as follows. So it's given us a story. It's told us that two brothers, if we just recall what we've discussed so far, two brothers come to a T-intersection or a fork in the road and ask the old wise man about which path to take. The old wise man explains the two options available to the brothers, one to the left, one to the right. The right path requires obedience. The left path gives you some more freedom, and he explains the situation to both brothers, and they take a choice. So obviously they reach the desert, they fall into the well, and clinging onto the tree, there's a white rat and there's a black rat. They're eating away, and there's a dragon waiting to accept the person or bite the person, or to take the person's life. So that's the situation that we're in. That was a story. So let's look at what the idea of the story is. One brother is a believing spirit, has a righteous heart. The other is an unbelieving spirit and has a vice, disobeying and sinning heart. The right way is that of the Quran and belief. The left way is that of unbelief and rebellion. So the right path that was taken is the Quran and the path of the Quran and the path of belief, and the left way is obviously unbelief and rebellion. The garden is a transient, short-lived human life. So there was a garden there, and that garden is the short-lived human life or the social life that we're in this world, which is both good and evil in it, clean and polluted aspects. A sensible person takes what is clear and pleasant, leaves what is dirty and distressing, and proceeds with a peaceful heart. The desert that was explained in the story is the earth. The beast that was waiting and chasing the two brothers into the wells is death. The well is considered to be our life, and the 60 meters, the length of the well that was described in the story as 60 meters, is the average lifespan of a human life in this world. The tree in the well is life. The two rats chewing on its roots are day and night. So the white rat is obviously the day, and the black rat is obviously the night. And the dragon in the grave's opening. And the dragon is the grave's opening. For a believer, it is no more than a door opening onto the garden. The insects that were described on the actual wall of the well are the troubles we face in our life, and in reality are Allah's gentle warnings that prevent believers from becoming heedless and careless. The fruits are the bounties and rewards of this world, presented as samples from the blessings of the hereafter, inviting customers toward the fruits of paradise. The tree with various fruits shows a unique stamp of divine power, the peculiar seal of divine lordship, and the unique signature of the divine sovereignty, whose unique virtue is to create everything out of one thing and to change everything into one thing, to make various plants and fruits from the same soil, to create all living things from one drop of water, and to nourish and feed and sustain all living things in the same manner but through different foods. Creating everything out of one thing and changing everything into one thing is a sign, a mark peculiar to the Creator of everything, who has power over everything. The sign shows the secret will of God in creating. It is opened with belief, and its key is, O Allah, there is no deity but Allah. Allah, there is no deity but He, the all-living, the self-subsistent. For one brother, for the people of the Quran and belief, the dragon's mouth, the grave, changes into a door opening onto the gardens of eternity of paradise, from the dungeon of the world and the arena of testing, onto the mercy of all merciful from the troubles of the worldly life. For the other, as for all people of misguidance and rebellion, it is the door to narrow, suffocating place of torment and torture. The beast changing into an obedient servant, a disciplined and trained horse, means that for unbelievers, death is a painful separation from loved ones. It's an imprisonment after leaving their deceiving worldly paradise. For believers, it is a means of reunion with dead friends and companions. It is like going to their eternal home of happiness, a formal invitation to pass into eternal gardens, an occasion to receive the wage to be bestowed, presented by the all-compassionate and merciful one's generosity for services rendered to him, and the kind of retirement from burden of life. In summary, those who pursue this transient, temporary life place themselves in hell, even though they stay in what appears to them as a paradise on the earth. Those who seek the eternal life find peace and happiness in both worlds. Despite all troubles they may suffer in the world, they show patience and thank Allah as they see the world as the waiting room for paradise. I'd like to end it with making a short dua that Bediuzzaman Said Nursi has included in the 8th word. O Allah, make us among the people of happiness, salvation, the Quran and belief. Amin. O Allah, give peace and blessings upon our Master Muhammad and upon his family and companions. To the number of all letters contained in the Quran, reflected by the permission of all merciful in the sound waves of each word recited by Quranic reciters from its first revelation to the end of time. Have mercy on us and on our parents and on all believers, to the number of those words through your mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. Amin. All praise and appreciation are for Allah, the Lord of all worlds. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Al-Fatiha.